Okay, guys, it is party time. So we're going to go ahead and kick off the webinar right on time to acknowledge all the great people who've made time in their schedule to be here today. I am very excited. This is Lara Galloway, and I'm the Business Development Manager here at White Glove Workshops. I'm so excited to have Dan Collison from Advice to Advisors with me here today. Dan has a fantastic six-step process that's going to help you book more appointments and get more clients. Dan, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Oh, thanks very much, Laura.
So why don't we go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start talking a little bit about how to do this, but before we do, I'd love you just to take a minute and introduce yourself for everybody, Dan.
Absolutely. You know, it is a pleasure being here talking with you and all of our webinar attendees. 2018 actually happens to be my 30th anniversary in the financial services industry. And of those 30 years, I've spent 29 years doing seminars and workshops. And I find that seminars and workshops are among the best marketing methods out there, as it sets you up really to be an expert in your field, and it allows you to gain greater visibility than most other strategies. And in fact, I think I was into my second year as a financial advisor back in 1989. It was one of my very first retirement seminars that I did. I got my first $1 million client from that seminar. And back then, $1 million client was something to behold. And in fact, from that one client, and they actually happen to be clients still to this day, I was given 3 more executive referrals, of which 2 became clients. So I did get other clients from that one seminar, but that one was of note, and then leading to 2 other clients. So even back then, it was big. So seminars have opened up my professional world far beyond the financial planning practice that I did start back in 1988. Because of seminars and public speaking, I've been asked to speak at many different associations, professional events, things of that nature, even social events. And I actually find it easier to do professional events personally. I sit on a professional and academic committees and advisory boards that have come out of my speaking. I've actually been teaching at the Schulich School of Business at York University. I teach in the MBA program. I've been there for the last 28 years. And the way I got into teaching MBAs was actually doing public seminars with a financial professor, who in turn brought me into the school. So seminars open up so many opportunities. They've also brought me a lot of different media interviews, radio, television, and newspaper as well. So today, Lara, I'd like to walk through our Advice to Advisors 6-step process to booking more appointments and driving client acquisition through seminar and workshop marketing. And step 1, know your target market, really sets the stage for all that's going to follow. So that target market is likely going to be your ideal client profile, you know, whether it's retirees, which was what I chose, empty nesters, professionals, it could be business owners, millennials, whoever it is you choose to build your business around is really who you should be targeting and what you should be targeting as either a seminar or a workshop. And the reasons are very simple. Each cohort, individual grouping has their own pain points, their own hot buttons, their own goals that you can learn and provide solutions to. So you can become very specific in the knowledge you gain, what you learn, and how you can focus on helping this cohort, this ideal client. It's much easier to focus on a seminar or a workshop that speaks to a single cohort, single group, rather than trying to be all things to all people, which really for the most part isn't possible, or at least it's very challenging. And finally, this leads directly into step 2, which is become the expert, because people like to work with experts. And it's easier to gain trust and influence when you're perceived as the experts. And this starts long before the seminar takes place, or even before the prospecting of your seminar begins. And most people are a little weary if they haven't really taken on that expert mantle, but it's a lot simpler than it sounds. And in fact, in my own situation, after I got my first retirement client, I went around telling everybody I was a retirement specialist. I told everybody that I knew personally. I told all my clients that was my focus. I told everybody in my office that I was now a retirement specialist, and I read to it, I studied to it. But I knew it had worked within a few months. It was around 5 p.m. Our office staff was leaving, and one of the administrators came back to the bullpen at that time. She walked over to me and she said to me, Dan, I hear you're a retirement planning specialist. And I looked up almost wondering what she was talking about, but I answered, yes, I am. She said, well, my dad passed away a year ago and my mom doesn't like the broker that he was working with. And I was wondering if you would talk to her. And of course, she then became a client as well. So the first part of this step is just focusing in on becoming an expert to whatever cohort, whatever ideal client you're going to choose, and then verbalize it, make sure people know that it is your specialty. So some questions you want to ask yourself: have I begun to position myself as the expert to this cohort? Does my website support my expertise? Does it say what I do? What about my social media, my LinkedIn, my Facebook, WeChat, Twitter, WhatsApp, whatever you use and put out to the market? Do they support my expertise? And does my seminar attendee package bio portray me as the expert to the attendees? And if it doesn't, what do I need to do to strengthen my expertise in this marketing? Thankfully, doing seminars and workshop is one of the first steps in declaring your expertise. It's how you get it out to the mass market. Then we look at step 3, work your prospecting plan, which happens to be the cause of most advisors or avoiding seminar marketing. You know, outside of fear of public speaking, most advisors in reality are afraid of prospecting. And this can easily be overcome by having a process for everything you do in your business. Not just marketing, by the way, but definitely in marketing. So I have 2 thoughts about the value of doing seminars. Number 1, first of all, they provide the opportunity to immediately gain you new clients. Secondly, they provide you the opportunity to gain hundreds and even thousands of new prospects over time, which I'll get into in a minute. I believe the best ways to prospect to seminars are, first of all, introductions. So if I'm holding a seminar on retirement planning, I'm going to ask my family, ask my friends, ask any existing clients, ask any centers of influences for introductions to people that fit into that marketplace. And then I'll send them invitations. And then secondly, social media. But the social media really needs to be tailored to the cohort that you're targeting. Lara, I know you're going to be putting a big focus on this, so I'll leave that to you. But I have to say that I've been using LinkedIn to market my seminars since it came on the scene, and it's been the best opportunity I've ever seen in marketing. I get asked a lot about cold calls, and some people still do them. And I actually did 4 years and tens of thousands of cold calls, including trying to get people out to seminars. But really, I've got to ask why. There's so many opportunities now to do it without cold calling. And the reality is, I think it really diminishes your visibility as an expert. Experts tend not to get on the phone and make cold calls. The next point is really, you've got to know your numbers. You have to understand your ratios like any business owner would. So when I'm looking at a seminar or a workshop, I've got to be looking at how many people do I plan to attend to this seminar. Therefore, how many will I get of those attendees as booked appointments, and ultimately, how many of those booked appointments will work out to be actual clients, either immediately or in the near future. In other words, I'm going to work my ratios. I've got to know what my ratios are. And if I don't know what my ratios are because I haven't been doing seminars, I need to start tracking them. Like every method of marketing and prospecting, I want to know my ratios and what I have to do to constantly get better. And also beyond the immediate client potential, I'm looking to fill my prospecting funnel. the more seminars I hold, the more contacts I'll make, and even the non-attendees can become future attendees and future prospects and future clients as well. I just need to continue to prospect to seminars. It's a very professional method of prospecting. In fact, it's more like making an offer to the public. You're offering them up value rather than just trying to get an appointment. We like to see advisors build a prospecting funnel of about 1,000 leads within 12 months. And we know that not every advisor needs that many. It depends on your business, obviously. But if you're newer to the business or you're looking to grow the business, it is very doable. And we find that seminar marketing can become a focal point to that prospecting. So it actually makes it easier for the advisor to have a direct focus on how to prospect when they've got seminars lined up and seminars to prospect to. Then we lead into step 4, deliver an engaging seminar. And this is absolutely critical. You can either look like a superstar if you're well prepared, or you'll look like a dud if you're just winging it. And let me state from the beginning, I believe in good professional seminars, you've got to be product agnostic during the seminar. Keep product out unless your seminar is specific to a product and the attendees know that. Be product agnostic. What you want to focus on is the attendees' goals, your strategies, your solutions to their goals. Product can come in once you've had a meeting with them, but it's goals and strategies and solutions that you should be focused on during the seminar. So back to engaging. So I've got a few points on this. First of all, you've got to look good. You've got to look like a professional, and that's different things to different people, obviously. It's also different to different cohorts. So if I'm dealing with seniors, I'm probably going to be in a shirt and tie, a suit. If I'm dealing with millennials, that actually could repel some younger individuals. So I'd probably go more professional, casual, business casual in that, but always look good. Look relaxed. And you have to know how to get there, and that's different things, again, to different people. For me, it's very specific. I need to be prepared. I need to know what I'm talking about. The reality is I am not a natural extrovert. I was not the person in university that stood up to talk and tell what their research was about. I kept my mouth shut. I stayed seating. And it was only when I got into the business, the financial advisory business, and I saw the monetary value of doing seminars that I sucked it up and got into it. But the only way I could get comfortable and look relaxed was really knowing my materials down pat. Finally, having an engaging presentation itself. If you're using PowerPoints, and not all presentations demand PowerPoints, but I do think they have their value. The one thing you want as much as possible is to go with pictures and graphs over words. Now that depends on how technical your presentation is, but if it's not overly technical, pictures and graphs do much better. And then delivery really does matter. You've got to use deliberate pauses. You've got to ask questions. Use stories for emphasis. And if you don't have stories, borrow stories, but you'll be able to collect your own stories that you'll be able to use over time. There's lots of online information on how to deliver. Really, it's easy to do. Again, you're studying. When you are presenting, you have to think, disturb, and motivate. You're looking to disturb the attendees to what they don't know. And in fact, if you can get to what they don't know that they don't know, so you're going second level deep, you're better still, because what you're looking to do is to move them forward with the solutions to what they don't know. And you want to move them forward with you if at all possible, without selling, but by showing that you've got solutions for what disturbs them. And in a lot of instances, again, people don't know necessarily what disturbs them. So you're not artificially creating problems. What you're doing is unearthing the problems for them. Finally, don't be afraid to video your presentation as a rehearsal. Everybody suggested this to me in the early days, but 25, 30 years ago, You had to have all the equipment. It was costly. It was time consuming. I didn't do it. It probably would have benefited me to do it at that time. Nowadays, we video all the time. We've all got our phones with video cameras. It's easy to do. It's quality, so you can actually see yourself in action in these rehearsals. You can pick out what you like, what you don't like. You can make adjustments to your presentations, and it's real time. One thing you do want to do is engage the audience early. So what I try to do is, wherever possible, I try to meet the attendees at the door. I introduce myself right away, let them know that I am the speaker. And then before the presentation even starts, I like to use a trivia questionnaire in the attendee package. And I'll build that out specifically to the cohort. So the trivia questions will be different from retirees to millennials, baby boomers, whoever it is. I make the questions lighthearted and I make it fun. I throw the questions out to the audience and I try to get them involved as much as possible so that we've actually got a dialogue moving before I ever get into the presentation itself. It sets everybody, including myself, at ease. I'm already talking to them, coffee in hand. And once the time starts, once I'm ready to deliver, I stop the trivial questions and move right into my presentation. And this leads us right into step 5, book the appointments. And this is the immediate payoff. This is where you strike while the iron is hot. And then again, it requires a process. Your presentation can have a lot of clues to this throughout, but you can't come off as salesy. So, you can talk stories about your clients, how you've helped them, what the solutions were. And a lot of times these problems, these solutions will resonate with your attendees. So this really is leading them towards future appointments and actually becoming the client. Methods that I've used to actually book appointments at seminars, first of all, an evaluation or feedback sheet in the attendee package. I'll ask a lot of questions. What did they like? First of all, about the presentation. I'll have them rank it on a 1 to 5 scale. That's great feedback to me. I also ask them what areas did interest them, what they might like to see in future presentations. And then there's opportunity for them to check off one of 2 boxes, either 1 for an appointment or 2 for a phone call to see if an appointment would be in line. Secondly, I'll have my assistant at the back and she will be taking appointments. She'll be booking right there. I'll make sure that everybody, all the attendees, know that she's there to do so, and that's worked very effectively. Finally, use the sticky note approach where we will actually put up sticky notes at the back wall. There'll be dates and times where I'll have appointments available and they'll just pull them off the wall, put their name and contact information in and hand those to my assistant. So those are 3 very direct methods of allowing people to book. But I'm not going to push it. I'm just going to make it available to them. But it really is a call to action. You also want to make it easy for them to contact you. So if you're using PowerPoint, your contact information at the bottom of the PowerPoint should be available, or at least at the beginning of the end. Inside your attendee package, all your contact information should be there. And what's really critical here is you might have a room of 25 or 50 attendees, and you might only get a few initial booked appointments out of that. But don't give up on any of the attendees until they give you a direct no thanks, not interested, because each name is potential gold and you don't want to waste that. So you want to be able to recycle those names for future appointments, or the next time you hold a seminar, you can invite them to that as well. But it is gold. You've worked hard. Why get rid of the names just because you didn't get them initially as an appointment? Finally, step 6, follow your sales process. And everybody has different sales processes. But what's important here is the follow-up really starts when you decide what the seminar, the workshop's going to be. Once you're in the initial appointment, your follow-up has already started. You need to consider how the sales process is going to play out at the beginning of setting up your seminar. So it's truly a flow through from the initial phase of seminar right through to your initial meeting with a prospective client. So you structure your seminar to flow directly into your initial appointment, and you take your prospective client back to the seminar at the beginning of your appointment. So you don't let it just hang there. You actually use what you discussed in the seminar to open up that initial appointment. You've got to build rapport. You know, you might have seen them a week, 2 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago at the seminar. So you want to reestablish, you want to reignite, you want to reengage. And what I mean by that, you want to reestablish the seminar discussion, what you talked about, what might have resonated with them. The reignite, that's the attendees' concerns and goals. So if you can bring them back to the seminar, what was it that triggered them? You know, you can ask specific questions, the what, why, which questions, you know, what challenges they have, what problems they have, what solutions or strategies that you might have mentioned at the seminar did they find interesting or they thought might apply to them. And then you want to re-engage them. You know, the building of the future relationship. You started at that seminar, you were the expert, they were your future client, at least in your mind. So the way to do that is to start talking we versus you or anything of that nature. And what you want to do is take them into the future and you be there with them. So again, don't talk about what you're going to do, what you need to do as strategies, and here's what you've got to do. Talk about here's what we're going to do at this point, and once that's taken care of, here's what we're going to do then. So really what you're doing is you're taking them into the future, you're alongside them, and then you bring them back to the present. And that is one of the quickest ways of building trust, because trust demands a relationship. And if you don't have a long-term relationship, you've got to move that along quickly. And taking them into the future with you there does exactly that. Beyond that, you want to have an agenda for that meeting that follows your sales process. It might harken back again to the seminar that did take place. And finally, you want to end with a call to action. Where are you going to go? Where are we going to go after this initial appointment? So Laura, those are the steps that I've been working and refining for the last 29 years of seminar and workshop marketing. They've really worked wonders for me and the many advisors that I've worked with. You know, really, it just takes the desire to grow your business and a process to follow. So I'll turn it over to you now, Laura.
Well, I appreciate it, Dan. And I'm sure that we have so many advisors on the call today who would love to mirror your success. And I really appreciate some of the things that you explained in the seminar today about being a seminar guru, like really understanding how to finesse this and how to make it part of the rest of your business, you know, understanding that it is a process and it requires prep, it requires that planning, it requires understanding your target audience, and it requires that follow-up afterwards, like you're talking about. So I think you've been, really helpful in articulating that. And I'd love to just kind of pick up where Dan left off, guys. I know we've got like over 160 people on this call today, and we appreciate you guys making time for this. We are, we are seminar management and marketing experts. So when somebody like Dan is out there doing his whole process, White Glove Workshops steps in to make the whole management and logistics and marketing side of it easier for you. And I just want to take you guys through that now. I know some of the people on the call today are existing White Glove Workshops hosts, and you may have heard this before, and some of you are brand new to us and have not heard this. So I just want to give you a little understanding of what we do to help advisors like you and like Dan make this better. And to kind of go through that, I want to make sure that I first explain where we came from, because like Dan, our company was founded by Dean and Mike Thurman, who are financial advisors who have been in the industry for 27 years. And Mike and Dean, they had a really incredible experience with seminars. They used them exclusively to build their business, but they were using direct mail marketing campaigns, and they, those had worked well for them for a long time. But what happened is over time, they would, realize they were spending a ton of that money up front for the marketing campaigns they were doing for the direct mailers, but they were getting diminishing returns over time, and they got really frustrated because no matter, they kept spending the same amount of upfront money, but they kept getting diminishing returns, and they really hated paying for the empty seats that happened when they'd spent the money, but the people weren't coming. So we've talked to thousands of advisors in the industry. We work with them every day, and we're hearing the same thing from them, that they're also struggling with getting diminishing returns on the marketing that they've done before to get these educational seminars booked up. So I just invite you, if this sounds like you, just, type yes in the little chat box, and we're going to be reaching out and talking about that in just a minute. We're going to open up questions at the end, and we're going to talk about how many of you this affects. But tell me if this resonates with you. Are you, like Dean and Mike, frustrated because you just don't have the time to coordinate seminars? And, maybe you're also frustrated because it just doesn't feel effective for you anymore. You've been doing a marketing strategy that previously worked pretty well, but it's just not giving you the same results you want, or maybe you're just kind of tired of how much money you're spending on it and getting the, low attendance rates. And this is something that the advisors we're working with have told us repeatedly is frustrating to them, is that they keep spending the money, but it is not yielding the same results. And even worse, when people come to the seminars, if they're not the right people, that can be really frustrating. You can get exhausted trying to, pitch your message and have this great information to share, but not the right people there to hear it. That can be extremely frustrating and a waste of your time. If you are also looking around and going, gosh, my competitors seem to be doing well with these seminars, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing everything they're telling me to do, but it looks like these guys are getting the clients that I'm not getting. And we know here at White Glove Workshops, we know it's not your fault. I mean, honestly, the entire financial industry is stuck in a seminar model that began when the only way to reach people on the telephone was on the telephone and mailing. I mean, think about that. Over 50 years ago, basically carrier pigeons is, the next step down. And that's what we're still using to reach out to people by and large. And it's time to move forward. So that's where we come in. We know there has to be a better way. Dean and Mike figured it out for themselves, and they took a break from the direct mail campaigns they were doing. They came up with a really innovative approach to using digital marketing to drive people to the workshops. And when they realized how effective this was, that's when they decided to share it with all advisors across the country. And that's how White Glove Workshops was born in 2015. So we are just coming up on our 3-year birthday. We're very excited here. And our model really disrupted the industry of seminar marketing for advisors. Dean and Mike are still in the trenches. They're still running their financial planning company in addition to running White Glove Workshops. And so they have the feet on the street and the information that we know advisors need to make things work better. We've completely redesigned the seminar marketing model to put it in favor of the advisor. So this is really critical, guys. And we do this in 3 ways. First, we do all of the work. All that stuff you see on the left side of the screen, we handle that for you. Secondly, we take all the risk. There's no upfront payment for these seminars. You don't have to pay before you know who shows up. We handle all of that. We are taking all that risk off the advisor's shoulders. And third, we guarantee the advisor will gain a client. So let me just explain this a little bit. When I say we do all the work, we know you didn't get into the business of being a financial planner to be an event planner, right? That's a whole different set of skills. So we handle all of the seminar planning logistics for you. In the old seminar model, you had to choose a topic, write the script, purchase insurance, find the venue, all that stuff. You don't have to do that with us. We handle that for you. You come to us, we handle all the seminar planning logistics, and we put you directly in front of your prospects, people who are looking for the kinds of answers that you have expertise in, okay? And Dan made a great point talking about those target audiences. If you're trying to target millennials, then you want to choose a topic. You want to choose a seminar topic that's going to attract millennials. It's probably not going to be something on retirement. Okay, it's going to be something else. It's going to be on investing wisely, or maybe social investing, something like that too. There are so many different ways to reach your audience, and choosing a seminar topic that is going to help pull that audience in is, a great way for us when we join hands with you guys and we do the marketing. We're going to ask you, who's your target audience? What's the demographics of this audience? Where do they live? How old are they? What are some of their interests? What are their goals? And when that combination comes together of a great seminar topic that attracts that audience and our expert marketing that's going to help do it for you, plus all the management of things, all the management of the logistics that we throw in, you've got an unbeatable system. And this system is one that throws out to the curb the whole pay and pray model. Some of you guys may call it that too. We know that seminar marketing needs to be in favor of the advisor. And when we say that, we know that you paying $5,000 or $10,000 for some mailers going out in the mail and then just waiting and hoping people show up is not a good use of your time nor your money. And, what if a snowstorm happens? I mean, goodness, up in Canada, all across the U.S., we've had so many things we've had to cancel for different weather events. And when that happens, guys, we eat it. We take it. You do not have to. If there are empty seats, you don't pay for it. You only pay for the people who show up to your event. You get paid on performance just like we do. So that's how we put this in favor of the advisor. And we're just about to wrap up, guys. I know we do have some questions, and I want to get to that, but we want to leave you with a call to action. We want to make sure that there are rewards for the action takers out there. We're going to give you a short timeline, but if you are interested in signing up for your first seminars and getting us to help, we're offering $500 off your first workshop. If you turn in a host agreement, that's what the contract you'd sign with us, by August 31st, and if you get that workshop completed by October 31st. So we would love to get a bunch of people taking us up on us giving away money. So please join in for us and let us help you get more advisors. Let us help you build that pipeline so that you can get out there and meet the people who need your help. So Dan, I'm going to take a look over here at the chat room and see what we have for questions now. I really want to acknowledge the people that are jumping in and ready to go. We want to make sure that these guys know exactly how to implement everything that we have started here today. So give me just a second to take a look over here at the questions. Okay, so we have a question from Janine, I believe. Janine, your question is, at what point do the white glove seminars experience diminishing returns? My area is saturated with advisors. That's a great question, Janine. You are probably in an area that is, full of retirees. Maybe it's somewhere sunny and warm. We get this question a lot, and one of the things that we are incredibly careful about at White Glove Workshops is that oversaturation of a market. We have some advisors who have so much success with their seminars that they want to offer 2 or 3 of them a month. And we will look at the numbers. We will go and we will research and say, okay, in this area, how many seminars do we think we can deliver for you? If you want to target, say, 20 households per seminar, we want to take a look at that and say, okay, Janine, we feel like we can probably do 2 seminars a month, or you know what, actually it's getting really crazy, maybe we can only do 1. But the thing is, what is awesome is we will give you direct advice. Your account executive will give you direct advice. She'll say, I can tell you what's going on in your area right now. You've got a couple of people doing workshops in this area, maybe about 10 miles away, and they're doing a workshop on this topic, but it's not the same topic you want to do. Or they may say, you know what, it is the same topic. I'm going to suggest a different topic for you. So we are very careful about that, and we are transparent about it. If there's a lot going on in your area, you will know it at the time when you are talking with your account executive, and he or she will give you some good coaching on that to either See if you can find a slightly different location, maybe 5, 10, 15 miles down the road, so that we can up your chances of getting better quality people to show up, and or choosing a different topic, okay? So I see another question coming in from Brian asking, does this apply if I've already scheduled a seminar? And, oh, Janine, I'm sorry, you said you're in the DC metro area, so I understand that, yep. I would just say, go back to you, Janine. I would talk to your account executive and just say, can you tell me what's going on in this area and help me pick an area in the DC metro area that is not oversaturated with these topics, and they will very honestly advise you where to go. So back to you, Brian. Does this apply if I've already scheduled a seminar? Actually, the $500 off your first workshop does not, but I do want to speak to this for you and for any of our existing hosts on the call. We would love to give you a $500 referral fee. If you can talk to someone and, you know, if you're an existing host of ours, we want to take good care of you as well. If you are telling other people, hey, you need to try out white glove workshops, hey, tell us that you sent them to us. Tell them that you sent them to us, and we would be happy to give you $500 off your next workshop. Thank you for asking that, because that is an awesome question. Do we have, this is from Dawn. Here's another question. Dawn's asking, do you have the stats of converting prospects to clients? Dawn, we would love to have those stats. The funny thing is, you guys get a little bit tough to track down once you get really busy with your clients. And we call and we ask, and we don't always get that information. But let me tell you what you can expect. We can expect when people show up to your seminar, we can expect at least half of them, this is our expectation, at least half of them will raise their hand to set up a one-on-one meeting with you. And that's what we want. That's exactly what Dan was saying. You know, you want to get those people to set the appointments. So you should expect at least half of them to do that. Out of those people who set appointments, you should expect at least 2 out of those, I'm sorry, I'm going to do numbers. So if 20 people come, and we would say at least 10 of them sign up to come in for a meeting with you, a sales meeting with you, an appointment with you, then we would expect at least 2 of those to become clients. So those numbers are pretty standard in the industry. Now, Dawn, what is a big variable is you. We don't know how you perform. So I would expect for you to, you know, think about that for yourself as the advisor. Are you doing what Dan said? Are you engaging? Are you warm? Are you doing a sales pitch? Or are you being a great community expert? Sometimes when people have lower results, we find out that some of that stuff is going on, and we help work with them to tweak it, and then they get better results. So your results on sales conversions are going to be the same whether you use seminar marketing or any other form of marketing, because you're the variable there, okay? The seminar needs to be understood that it is a marketing, and marketing always, it's a marketing event. Marketing must always occur before sales. And in a good marketing event, you are educating, you are informing, you are building awareness, and you are engendering trust. After you do that, you're allowed to do sales. So make sure you get those done in the right order, and you should be in good shape. Let me see, I'm cruising through a bunch of chats coming in. Hang on. Let's see. I've got, let's see. How does your marketing target prospects with a certain level of investable assets? That's a great question coming in from Thomas. Thomas, that is a great question. We have a couple of different ways to address that. We have different topics. Getting back to this target audience again, it sounds like you want to zone in on a specific group. And I think that's a great idea. Just, you know, back to what Dan said, knowing your target audience is important so that you can deliver messaging and information that appeals to them. So if you're targeting, say, you know, say you want to work with a lot of people headed into retirement age, if that's your niche, we have several different topics of seminars that work super well for that. And we have so many data points because we're doing 450 to 500 workshops a month across the US and Canada. So we can tell you how well these perform. for instance, we can tell you that our Social Security, we have a Social Security topic, and that pulls really well for some people that are, you know, drawing Social Security at this point. They want to be more informed about their options there. So if you're looking for that group, I would say choose that topic. Now, the thing about Social Security is it does tend to skew towards a demographic that is a little less wealthy. If you're looking for a wealthier demographic, we would suggest that you choose the Taxes and Retirement seminar that we have. That one tends to skew to a higher level because people who are worried about taxes and retirement, how that impacts them, are people who have more money. So those are a couple of the options. We do have some different ways to target people that get into a bit more of a customized approach. That is something I would suggest that you ask your account executive about. We call it custom marketing. For instance, say you want to target business owners, or say you want to target somebody like, you know, we're here in Metro Detroit. Maybe you want to target Ford or GM employees. Those options are available. There are some additional costs for those, but they are available. And if that's a demographic you're going after, we can absolutely meet you there. Okay. More questions. Let's see. Okay, here is a great question from Katie. She says, since you're using Facebook advertising for the promotion of these seminars, have you run into any issues without the ability to target net worth and income? Oh, great question, Katie. So we do use Facebook as well as a lot of different things. This is not just a Facebook campaign. So Facebook is doing a lot of big changes, and marketers out here in the world, we have to be really nimble and quick to move with those. But you know, if we had all of our eggs in one basket, that would be a heck of a lot harder challenge. We actually at White Glove Workshops have our own development team here helping us build up all of the intel that we draw from all of these webinars and seminars that we're doing every month. So that kind of information is helping us figure out how to target people better without having to worry about some of the limits that Facebook is putting on there. And we use Facebook, we use LinkedIn, we use Google AdWords. We do a lot of different things, not to reveal all of our secret sauce, but it's, you know, there's a lot of different ways to reach people. And we kind of joke about it, but you know how the way you move around online leaves a digital footprint. And as you leave that digital footprint, say you went and researched, you know, I'm looking for a new car right now. And guess what happens every time I pop onto Facebook later in the day? I'm getting new car ads in my feed, right? So as we move around online, any of us, we are leaving a digital footprint. And it's up to us marketers to figure out how to capture that and how to use that for targeting later. So we are able to aggregate some big data and to buy and purchase tools that aggregate big data, and to do that in our own in-house development group, where we can find people and target them based on income, net worth, interests, age, where they live, all that kind of good stuff. And that helps you guys as advisors reach out and connect with them better. I hope I answered that okay. It's hard to see all these questions coming in so fast. Oh, and I see, Katie, you were asking what else do we use besides Facebook? I'm glad I was able to answer that for you. Okay, let's see. I think I'm coming through the end of the questions here. Just trying to scroll through for a minute. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to hold it open for just another minute. Dan, I've been chatting relentlessly here. Do you have anything to add off of what I've just said before? I think if the questions slow down, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here and let these people get back to work. But do you want to add on any closing thoughts as well before we wrap up the seminar?
Yeah, well, really beyond the value of becoming the expert that comes through doing seminars and workshops, really the reason we partnered with White Glove is that it's virtually risk-free. And I never had anything of that nature as a financial advisor, and I haven't seen anything really that's being offered up like that. So for that simple reason, I would suggest to advisors, you know, try it, but document everything. Make sure you keep your ratios and follow through on the processes. it really comes down to you. You're no longer doing the prospecting, but you've got to be the presenter. You've got to engage the attendees. And if you're half good at that, you're going to get clients from it. And then you'll learn from the first. My suggestion, and it always has been to advisors, and I've been working with advisors for 26 years, is set up a pattern, set up a series of workshops or seminars so that you're always prospecting to something, so that you know what's going to be happening next month, so that you can actually count on your revenue, what's going to be happening with your business, and you can watch the growth. And if you're not seeing growth, you've got to make changes, whatever those changes might be, but you should be able to tell what necessary changes there are by really looking at the type of work you're doing with these.
Absolutely. And if you're struggling at figuring out what those changes are, you probably need to book some time with Dan, because he knows it and he can help you figure that out.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, Dan, thank you so much. And I appreciate all of the folks who've been on the chat with us today. I wanted to make sure I get our closing screen up here so you know how to reach out. There we go. Okay. There, if you would like to reach out and connect with Dan, I'm not seeing it on the slide here. I want to just give Dan, would you please give your email address for people to reach out for you guys at Advice to Advisors?
Sure, you can contact me at daniel.collison@advicetoadvisors.ca.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again, guys, for making the time. We are going to also make this link, we're going to get the recording out and make the link available to anybody who signed up but wasn't able to attend. I know several people have asked about that. So if you have a colleague who is wanting to listen in or you want to share it with, it will be available within the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll get that out via email, the email that you registered with. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to hearing from you action takers out there, so don't miss out on that opportunity. Until next time, I'm Lara Galloway at White Glove Workshops with Dan Collison at Advice to Advisors. Take care, guys.
Thanks very much, Lara.